Let me start by the short one, the Council of Elders. This is a new institution that is being introduced to afford our president an opportunity to tap into the wisdom and experience of former senior ranking Politburo members. The institution or the Council of Elders will be of a membership not exceeding 10, and the composition will be either former presidents and former high-ranking Politburo members of the party. This is basically to afford the president to have views which are not coming from people who are already part of the process. It will afford the president to have independent and honest opinions about anything on any subject. So I thought I should just highlight that it is a maximum membership of 10, and as of now, although we say it will be composed of former presidents, we don't have any former presidents. So the new Council of Elders is going to be composed of former senior, high-ranking Politburo members to advise the president on any issue, on any sector. Coming to the business expo, let me give, just by way of background, that under the Second Republic, in the new dispensation, the philosophies or political policies enunciated by our president, Comrade E.D. Mnangagwa, are that Zimbabwe is open for business, that we should engage and re-engage all countries, all nationalities, all sectors of the international community. Also that we should not have any enemies. We don't want to be an enemy to anyone. We are seeking to be friends to everyone. When he says Zimbabwe is open for business, he's not referring to foreign investors only. He's also referring to local business people. He encourages local business people to produce. In other words, he says productivity, productivity, productivity. Production, production, production. And the guiding philosophy that he has given us is that we should talk economy, 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 then politics. Then economy, 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 then politics. That is how this country is going to be developed. And he encourages us, of course, to work very hard. Wanota nyika inofanira kuwakwa nevene wayo, and hapana tinofanira kudya zveziya. All that is basically encouraging us to adopt a good work ethic. Now, guided by that spirit, the Department of Finance decided that we invite corporates, both parastatal in the public and private, to come and exhibit at our Congress. In other words, we invited them to rent space to exhibit their wares and products. In other words, to an opportunity to promote their businesses, to promote their products at this Congress. As you know, we have got a large attendance that is coming in tomorrow, and it's a good opportunity for companies to link up with very influential opinion makers in the country, and also to raise awareness about their products. So we invited corporates to come and exhibit, of course, for a fee. And we are overwhelmed. I must say this, we are overwhelmed. 60, as of yesterday, I don't know about today, 65 corporates had responded. I will not disclose how much money we've made. But clearly, as the keeper of the fiscus, of the party fiscus, I am very happy, very excited. And please don't tell it to anybody because they will rob me. But I'm very excited. So tomorrow, I hope that the members of the media will have the opportunity to go around the exhibitions. I also, before the Congress kicks off, His Excellency is going to make a tour of the exhibitions. We think that this is a way to link us up to business. As you are aware, we also have a program which provides us that we listen. We are a listening party. And we've been meeting various sectors of the economy, miners, artisanal miners, established mines, commercial businesses. We have been meeting them to listen and understand what their concerns are, which inhibit the growth of their businesses. We want businesses to grow. We want businesses to make money. If they make money, we will all be happy as a country. The economy will grow. That basically is our thrust. So we want to be friendly to business. And I'm sure that through this opportunity, they will see that Zanu PF is business friendly. I want to emphasize Zanu PF is business friendly. That's how jobs are created. That is how the country's wealth is created. That is where we get our taxes to create the infrastructure that you see all over the country. So with these few words, I want to thank you very much for giving me your ear. Thank you.
You are free to ask any questions to Comrade Namasa. I want to add that even in their own right, our members are very successful. Our supporters, our affiliates, they produce 2/3 of the gold which this country is, is using to stabilize the currency. This is a new industry which never existed before, and 2/3 of 30 tons of gold is not small money. Then we also have the tobacco sector, which was very much instrumental, and myself in rekindling. Back when I was ambassador to China, he came on a mission, and we decided that we were going to get the Chinese to support the leaf tobacco sector of Zimbabwe, which had literally collapsed to 20 to 30 million tons a 40 a year kg. In 2004.
From 230 million kg.
Yeah, in colonial times. We revived that industry, and today it's booming, and again, the number of farmers are bigger. He was instrumental in the reframing the business environment by replacing auction with leaf tobacco contract farming. So we've created wealth among Zimbabweans, among the membership of the party. That is the reason why this party is popular. And President Mnangagwa is taking it to new heights. And when people come to do the exhibition like they are doing now, we are only affirming our business credentials as a party, and we are proud of them. We are pro-business. So,
and let me add that no corporate has been forced to come and exhibit. The invitation is to businesses who want to promote their businesses and who think there is an opportunity to advertise their products. It's up to them. If they have something to exhibit, to promote, it is up to them. We don't force. This is a business relationship, not a political one, a business relationship. Those who think that it's not an opportunity to exhibit their wares, or they don't have any to exhibit, we have no problem with that. And the majority anyway who responded are not parastatals. They are private sector. And you'll see it for yourself tomorrow. Also, let me add, I think I must say something on Manise steel.
Yes.
We have an opportunity as a country to be a #1 producer of steel on the continent. And this is something that not only the media fraternity, but all Zimbabweans should applaud. It's an opportunity, a rare opportunity for an African country to be in the league of steel producers. And the Manise plant is going to put us in the league worldwide, not just in Africa. worldwide. It is an opportunity that will grow this economy. You cannot grow an economy without steel, because steel is necessary, is an ingredient in all construction that takes place. There is an element of steel. And so having to produce it is something that I hope that all of us can welcome and can encourage. And we do not want the negative stories that have been going around sometimes, which are to no good, which basically are to, you know, they know we are under sanctions by the West. And they don't want any other investors to come in. So they want us to collapse. The investor who is coming is one of the leading, if not the number one, steel manufacturer in the world. Yeah. And as we all know, China is now the factor of the world. And you cannot grow your economy and ignore a relationship with the Chinese economy. No country can afford it to, including even the Western countries. So I just wanted to say a word about Manise. And also because when he was ambassador, he took me, he diverted actually my program. When he was ambassador to China, I went there as Minister of Justice to visit institutions, judicial institutions. And he told me, no, please get away from that program. Let's talk about economy, about business. That's how we went and approached the China Monopoly Tobacco Company. He then took me to Shanghai to meet the investors who are coming to Manise. And I'm very happy that what we started many years ago is now come to fruition. That is something that we want to encourage. So I thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you so much, Comrade Director. Today, the President gave a rundown of the work report of the Presidium and the Politburo to the body to which we are accountable to, which is the Central Committee. The Central Committee is our master. We are only a secretariat as the Politburo, and is the executive of that secretariat as the first secretary of Zanu PF. So he gave a report back of the main achievements which the party has scored since 2018 manifesto, and also since the advent of the Second Republic. And it is indeed a glowing report in many aspects, but particularly focusing on the economic achievements which have made the Zanu PF party so popular now, not only with Zimbabweans at home, but with Zimbabweans in the diaspora, and also which is making the young people begin to identify with Zanu PF, because it is creating a sense of hope, a new can-do spirit among Zimbabweans. And that was the summation of the President's report to the Central Committee. You know that you would want to know that this is the last meeting of that Central Committee today. Tomorrow, the Congress itself kicks in. It is taking over as the democratic institution accountable to the people. Tomorrow, these are elected representatives. And today, there was an announcement of one by one of each of the winning members of the Central Committee. So we now know the names of the incoming Central Committee members. They were announced today to the outgoing Central Committee, which sat for the last time today. So there were two issues. The outgoing Central Committee has done its job of the elections of the new Central Committee. Now we are waiting for the formal investiture anointment of the new Central Committee. And out of that Central Committee, which is going to be announced, the President will then proceed to choose a new Politburo. You will recall that the last Politburo meeting was yesterday. So it is also in transition. The Politburo is going to be replaced by this Congress so that we get a new mandate for the next 5 years. All said, the institutions which do matter for Zanu PF to go to the elections in 2023 are all in place. and it has been done in a harmonious manner with democratic elections at each and every stage, with as minimum an acrimony as can be, and with a camaraderie and a sense of unity which only Zanu PF as a party of the Zimbabwe Revolution can exhibit. This gathering of 2,000, no, is it 2,000? No, 4,000.
3.5.
Yeah, 2.5. 3.5 delegates is from all over the country. And we do not have the shouting matches which are the hallmark of the other parties. Everybody was there listening. There was cut and thrust in the debate. Everybody, and the president is a patient listener. Everybody was given a chance to give his views about the work progress of this outgoing Central Committee today and what the president has done for the party. We are not afraid of debate within Zanu PF because we are a family, and like we say, nobody loses in Zanu PF because we have an obligation to deliver prosperity to the Zimbabwe people. We can't say the same thing about the other party because they are even afraid of meeting, because if they have meet, they start quarreling. And then somebody will have a black eye out of those meetings, and then somebody will go and form a new party until they exhaust the alphabet. This is, this is the hallmark of the other party. We are not like that in Zanu PF. So it was a very good meeting, very constructive, and the president was very effusive in profusively thanking. He was effusive in profusively thanking the outgoing Central Committee for the great work which is done in a very short period of time of 4 years in infrastructure, in farming. We now have striving for food security in almost every domain. We've achieved in the staple maize. We've now gone to wheat. We are going to have a bumper harvest and perhaps more than 13 months of supply. We have extended Fumvudza to cotton. We are extending Fumvudza, our climate-proof agricultural system. We are extending it now to other crops like legumes, so that we do have protein. So all this was the main thrust of the president's report. We have also grown our exports. We started off in 2018 at about 2.8 billion per year. We are now at 7.5 billion per annum. And then next year, when the steel and the lithium sector kicks in, these are high-end, top-tier industries where global companies have come to Zimbabwe. The best global companies have come to Zimbabwe. We will be able to deliver on $12 billion of exports coming from our agriculture and coming from our mining sector. So this is a very enviable work record by the President Dr. E.D. Mnangagwa. It is also an enviable work record by the Politburo, which he was leading, and by the Central Committee. And these are directing the ministers, the government ministers, who are really working on the programs and policies of the ruling party so that we can deliver the prosperity which Zimbabweans aspire for. So this is basically what was involved today in our Central Committee meeting, the last one of this Congress. And we also discussed the various resolutions, and the central one being that the president is the sole candidate for our upcoming elections in 2023. Like I said yesterday, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. He's doing a fantastic job. Why would you want a man who is delivering accolades of performance in every aspect? All the green buttons of progress, he's pushing them. So why do you want to change a man who is delivering? So we are happy with that. It is not something which you can associate with the other party. He has been going all over the country. Watoone mhoni yekupota vachibata chigero vachidimbura maribbons ema projects after project in all the diverse sectors of the economy. Our president is busy on a tour of projects which Zanu PF is delivering, and all the projects are there to change the people's lives of Zimbabwe. That's why I spoke of a new can-do spirit, a new confidence, a new sense of bravado by Zimbabweans that we are a country destined to higher and higher achievements in terms of our economic performance. I do realize yes. We have now got a new secretariat to cater. We've thought the constitution was being, I mentioned earlier on, was being revised. We have now separated labor to come on its own. Makes sense. To have production in a country, we do need capital. That's why Commissioner Massa was talking about, was loading the president's open for business mantra. That is to attract capital, both domestic and foreign. Now that capital to work, it has to employ labor. So labor is a very important component, and now we have separated it to have a new secretariat of its own. We want to have a new labor ethos in the country which works for progress. We don't want the mistake of the former labor ethos which was associated with the ZCTU. We came in from the war, they were not allowed to be trade unions. We opened the trade union space for them, and in no short time they wanted to be rulers. Then they formed the MDC as a party, and they then became pawns of foreign countries. They became pawns of the Americans and the British, who were bent on destroying our economy, and they were then involved in stairways from production, and they were supporting sanctions which made sure that there was no capital for business. Capital became expensive. There was capital flight, and factories collapsed. And when factories collapse, there are no more workers to recruit as trade unionists. So, kuchaganganga inobata mai uroi. Those are because in the end there was no more ZCTU because there were no more workers. Now we are now saying we need a Secretariat of Labor which works close with the government and close with the employers. We want the German model where there is close collaborative effort between labor, capital, and government. That way we will make sure that there is minimum ructions in the workplace, and we have as little or as minimum any interruptions of production by factories. So this is what the new Labor Secretariat will be involved with, taking care of a new labor ethos, but also making sure that the interests of labor are catered for in a new collaborative, productive environment of labor, capital, and government. So this is a new department which has been set up. There is another one which has been, where mines and energy is going to have its own secretariat. Yes, because energy is so important. We will be looking at probably 5 to 10,000 megawatts of power in the next 5 to 10 years, 5 to 7 years, when we start producing steel. Steel requires a lot of power. Steel also requires a lot of chrome smelting. You know, we have the biggest resource of smelt, or one of the third largest resource and the highest quality in the world. All the steel plants will need chrome, and chrome has to be smelted, and it requires power. So we are now going to have a separate secretariat for energy, because we are planning for a major expansion in the energy portfolio of Zimbabwe, which will include a close working relationship with Mozambique, because the Zambezi River is very powerful when it gets into Mozambique. So and those cataracts from the plateau, it is starting with Victoria Falls, will be harnessed. The same water is harnessed over and over again as it goes to the Indian Ocean. So we will have a portfolio, an energy mix of hydroelectricity power combined with coal reserves, which we have in abundance at Wange, but also at Matize in Mozambique. And then we also have to look at the gas deposits in Mozambique, and even the prospects of gas coming up in Zimbabwe in the Muzarabani area. So this is another mix in our energy portfolio, which will be ready to be exploited for the growth of our steel and metallurgical sector, which will be one of the largest in the world, because the resources of iron ore at Manize alone are enough for the next 200 years. enough for the next 200 years. It will be interesting. The president was saying to one of the companies which is already there, why didn't you take all of it? And the company says, there's too much of it. We need other companies to come here and join us in the exploitation of the iron ore deposits at Manise. And you will be happy to know that one of the largest carbon steel producers in the world, other than the one which is in Zimbabwe, they flew in last week in their own private plane. His name is DeLong, a steel company, and is looking at setting up yet another steel factory at Manise. So we have enough of the resources, and the demand on the global market is enough for the companies which are coming in. We will not be stepping each other's toes about the resource. It's enough, the chrome is enough. Then we have also the coking coal at Wange. We will be going for 10 million tons of coking coal production in the next 5 to 10 years. And most of it will be used at Manise by these different companies. That's why I always emphasize the very close working relationship which is developing between President Nyusi and President Mnangagwa, because we are not going to be producing for 14 million Zimbabweans. No, 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 no. We will be producing for 7 billion consumers on the global market. In short, we are reclaiming our footprint as Zimbabweans in the global marketplace. Made in Zimbabwe, quality goods and services made by Zimbabweans for the discerning global market. You will be going to global markets and seeing made in Zimbabwe goods in department stores all over the world. This is what Zanu PF's prosperity is all about, and that's what the Central Committee was talking about. That's what the President was reporting to the Central Committee, which has done a fantastic work, and that's why he was so grateful to that particular Central Committee. We will also be separating housing from local governance. The issue of provision of housing is very important, but more than that, with all these new companies coming up, the urbanization pace will gather. So we need a different approach to housing to the one which has been there before. People were just coming into town ngonovaka dzimba pasina mabasa in an informal economy. Dzimba handidzo town because kumaruzeva kune dzimba. So if you build shacks in town, it doesn't mean progress. Where we are now going, we want top-notch housing estates which will cater for this high-quality labor force, producing the best steel in the world, producing the best lithium for batteries for the new energy sector. We want the best employees of, one world-class employment, and world-class employment we also expect world-class housing amenities. So we are not going for mashaks or for shanty towns anymore. We are going for quality housing development. So a new secretariat is now being set up in our Politburo so that it can report to the Central Committee on all the issues which arise. What am I saying? We are a developing party. We take stock of our constitution. We tweak our constitution to reflect the progress which we are making. We are not like the other party. No constitution, no program, no policy, no nothing. And I don't know how you can make progress if you cannot gather as a constitution. If you are afraid of gathering human beings work together in a groups in a collaborative manner. The MDC does not believe in that. So it's a hodgepodge party. The Triple C does not believe West. It's an anarchist party. They can't deliver on things like this because if you can't meet and deliberate and chart a common and shared vision, how do you expect to develop a country? So come elections 2023, the people of Zimbabwe will be making choices. They will be making choice between a party given to anarchism, a party which is given to a one-man band, a party which is run like a secret society, a party which is not believing in policies, programs, and constitutionalism, and a party which has got a history of all those things as its DNA from its inception in the 1960s. We have made structures which work. That's why we have the best army on the African continent. We have the best state apparatus. We have delivered on the best education. We are now delivering on the best economy on the African continent. This comes from structures. This comes from constitution. This comes from ideology. This comes from collaboration. These are the hallmarks of our president, the listening president. And today, he had the pride of thanking his Central Committee for all the work it has done, but also in the process through the resolutions assigning new tasks for the incoming Central Committee. And the new tasks will be spelled out in our manifesto, which will be the driving document of a whitewash victory against some upstart pretenders who anyway are being abandoned by their masters. I don't want to lie to you. There is a lot of American overtures to Zanu PF coming through various diplomatic circles to say, can we find a working relationship? So, pana ari kurambwa ipapo. Kana kuti pana achasiwa ari paruware nezviri kuitika diplomatic field. And I don't want to say it's Zanu PF. I know that those who know that they've now lost favor are the ones who should own up to say the game is up. What I advise them, why don't they go to England and try to be Mr. Sunak and become the Prime Minister of England? It's now good these days. Rather than calling for colonizers to come back to Zimbabwe, you can always go to their country and try to become Prime Minister, and maybe you make it in England. So good advice to Mr. Nelson. No, try to become Mr. Sunak in England. Thank you so much for your time and patience. I don't know whether I've overlooked something in my report. Mr. Director, you need to help me. But look, we will be having a new look Politburo very soon, a new look Presidium very soon, according to the wishes of the President. Yes. Yes, I emphasize again that in Zanu PF we believe in assignments. Any assignment which you are given by the party is noble. The most important person in Zanu PF is the card-carrying member. Just to belong to Zanu PF, it's a good thing. So we do not have a cat fight or a rat race for positions in the party. I have been up and down in Zanu PF over the years. I've been in and out sometimes, but I always try to identify with my party because it's a party with a revolutionary background. Many people sacrifice to say, even if I don't live to see Zimbabwe, I just want my country to prosper. So it is the glue that makes the Zanu PF stick together. So when we are promoted or when we are redeployed to other, we don't say demoted, redeployed to other assignments, we always as cadres try to discharge to our best ability in whatever role which the party has assigned us. So this is why we say in Zanu PF there are no winners, there are no losers in elections, there are no winners, no losers in selections to party positions. We remain loyal to our party and to the cause of the Zimbabwe revolution, whose only and only preoccupation is how can we bring prosperity to the people of Zimbabwe. And with President E.D. Mnangagwa and his open for business and his appeal to Zimbabweans, kuti hapana anosara, hapana region inosara, which is the theme of our conference, we are very sure that this country is going to deliver the fastest growing economy on the African continent, whether Washington likes it or not, whether London likes it or not, whether Paris likes it or not, we are going to deliver it. And we'll be very happy to know that the overtures coming from the European Union to Zimbabwe are exciting. The business community in Europe and their new representative, whom 10 days ago presented his credentials to the president, they are in a very bullish mood about engaging in Zimbabwe, and they are ready to compete with other capitals from India, from China, which is on the ground here. The EU is strapping its bootstraps to come into the Zimbabwean capital, market. So we are going to have a lot of exciting competitive business entities in Zimbabwe. And who gains out of it all? Zimbabwe. Because when capital competes for your resources, for your labor, in production of good goods, prosperity is the winner for Zimbabwe. So we are delivering on our historic role for a prosperous, bountiful Zimbabwe. We'll go back to the glories of the Monomutapas and the Changamires, which built great Zimbabwe, and Kami, and many other of the 400 Zimbabweans, which you see littered on our plateau. This is where Zanu PF is taking this country to. And the diaspora is excited about it. The business community is excited about it. And the electorate is excited about it. 8 by-elections, Zanu PF walks away with 7. Look at the margin of the loss to where we lost. Very narrow. So the gap is narrowing, even in the urban constituencies between Zanu PF and MTC. We've got the rural constituencies already begged. Pfumvudza is working magic as we distribute inputs on time. Right now we are busy distributing inputs on time to rural people for their Pfumvudza, and the agricultural extension officers are everywhere with motorbikes, teaching how people scientific methods of farming. That translates into a vote come 2023. Ana Chamisa Miola apana kana chiripo chavari kuita zero. Haumbomuona kana one day ana businessman. I've never seen Chamisa with a businessman. How do you prosper when you don't have businessmen on your side? Now you see businessmen are coming to exhibit at the Zanu PF fair because they are looking for customers. They are not looking for money is being made more by people in private business than in government. So they are coming for customers from our membership. Vafana makorokoza vari kuita gold in tons. Vafana vari kurima fodya, vafana vari kurima blueberries. They read the internet overnight. Mangwana oproduce blueberries autoshamisa ku Europe. This is what Zanu PF is doing in the Second Republic. So we are very excited. That in summary was our central committee today. We are now waiting for tomorrow, what it brings as the day where most of the decisions will be made concerning the future of the party. And then there will be the grand announcement, is it on Saturday? For the new Politburo, and of course, the new leadership of the party. But one thing is for sure, the sole candidate for 2023, all organs of the party have agreed on, is the man who is doing a fantastic job. And like we say, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. He is doing a good job. We want him to do more of the good job. And it's Emerson Dambudzo Mnangagwa, the comrade, the doctor, and the president and first secretary of Zanu PF, who is also the commander-in-chief and president of the Republic of Zimbabwe. I thank you.
Thank you very much, comrade spokesperson. I'm sure because of time, I don't know. I was going to say tomorrow the session proceeds at Rainbows. So all those who have been accredited, they are all welcome. Don't bother bring yourself if you have not been accredited. Yes.
Oh, I forgot something. Very important. In this building, because of the harvest of content by the generality of the public, everyone now sees doctors for ED, teachers for ED. We also have a swelling number of returnees for ED. Returnees for ED. And where do you know where they are coming from? They are coming from the opposition.
Yes.
Remember, they were originally Zanu PF members, then they were discontented with the First Republic. Comes President E.D. Mnangagwa, he changes everything, and is now the most fashionable man in town. Everybody wants to be something for economic development. So we now have a full desk in this building. We may even very soon open a floor for returnees for ED. And we are going to have an institution. We told you we have an elders council. We may have a returnees council. And we are harvesting them from what? From Triple C. And the stories which they are talking, inside stories of how that party was badly run, and of how they collaborated with the Americans and the British to bring their country down. They are heart-rending stories, but they are very comforting stories because they are making us now feel that all Zimbabweans are coming together.
Yes.
We are becoming one again. So confession is good, but what we want is allegiance to Zimbabwe. That's what we value most. I thank you.
Yeah, once again, thank you, spokesperson. I hope you'll pardon me for this today.
Yes, and the man who was driving, it's not Comrade Chinamasa who was driving the Elders Council, is one of our elders, Comrade Sidney Sekramai.
Yes.
He is the one who has been working on this new institution in the party called the Elders Council, which wants to take full advantage of the institutional memory of people who have served the party for a very long time. So pam to Comrade Sidney Sekramai, who has done a good work on the Elders Council in the amendment of our constitution. I thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. I'm sure for the sake of time today,
yes,
we will avoid questions because tomorrow we have another
yes,
briefing at the end.
yes, we have more questions, more fertile questions tomorrow.
Tomorrow, yes.
And we'll make sure that we give you all the time. We'll not sign another agreement,
Yes, yes.